The door creaked open just as I froze in the hallway, my eyes locking onto the impossible scene. My older brother, Mark, pressed against his best friend, Ethan, their lips meeting in a desperate, hidden kiss under the dim glow of the living room lamp. In that split second, the world I knew shattered. Mark, the golden child, the straight-A student headed for law school, entangled in something our conservative family would never accept. I backed away silently, heart pounding, but the damage was done. That image burned into my mind, forcing me to question everything about loyalty, love, and the lies we tell to survive. I was Drake Thompson, 22 years old, fresh out of college with a degree in psychology that suddenly felt useless against the chaos unfolding in my own home. Growing up in suburban Chicago, our family was the picture of Midwestern normalcy. Dad ran a hardware store, Mom volunteered at church, and Mark was the one everyone pinned their hopes on. Me? I was the quiet younger brother, always in his shadow, harboring my own secrets about late-night thoughts that strayed toward guys in my classes. But I'd buried them deep, convinced that coming out in a household where family values meant Sunday sermons and heteronormative holidays would be suicide. Now, witnessing Mark's moment with Ethan, those buried feelings surged up, mixing with shock and a twisted sense of relief. I wasn't alone. That night I couldn't sleep. The house in Oak Park felt smaller, the walls closing in with unspoken truths. Ethan had been around since high school, Mark's inseparable buddy, the guy who'd crash our family dinners and join us on vacations. Everyone loved him. Charming, athletic, with that easy smile that disarmed even Dad's gruff demeanor. But now, replaying the kiss in my head, I saw the signs I'd missed. The lingering glances, the inside jokes that excluded everyone else, the way they'd disappear for study sessions that lasted hours. By morning, I decided I had to confront Mark. Not out of anger, but because if he was going through this, maybe we could face it together. Little did I know that decision would ignite a firestorm. Over breakfast, Mom chattered about the church bake sale while Dad scrolled through his phone, grumbling about politics. Mark sat across from me, buttering his toast like nothing had happened, but his eyes flicked my way with a hint of wariness. Ethan wasn't there. He'd left late the night before, or so Mark had said. As soon as our parents headed out, Mom to her shift at the library, Dad to the store, I cornered him in the kitchen. "I saw you last night," I whispered, my voice barely above a breath. Mark's face drained of color. "What are you talking about?" He shot back, but his denial was weak, his hands trembling as he gripped the counter. We moved to the backyard, away from prying ears, where the summer sun beat down on the overgrown grass. Mark paced, running a hand through his dark hair, while I sat on the patio steps, waiting. Finally, he stopped and looked at me, eyes filled with a mix of fear and defiance. "It's not what you think, Drake. Ethan and we've been figuring things out. It's complicated." Complicated? That word hung in the air like a bomb. He told me it started in college, a drunken night that turned into stolen moments, evolving into something real but terrifying. "Dad would kill me," he said, voice cracking. "You know how he is, his rants about traditional marriage, and all that crap from his Fox News marathons." I nodded, my own fears mirroring his. But then I confessed my piece. "Mark, I think I'm like you, gay." I've never said it out loud before. The admission lifted a weight, but Mark's reaction wasn't what I expected. Instead of solidarity, his face hardened. "You can't tell anyone," he hissed. "Not Mom, not Dad, and especially not about me and Ethan. Promise me, Drake." I promised, thinking it was the start of an alliance. But as the days passed, tension built. Mark grew distant, avoiding Ethan in public, snapping at me over nothing. I started noticing how he threw himself into family activities, overcompensating with stories about girls from his classes. It hurt watching him deny who he was, but I understood the pressure. Our family wasn't overtly homophobic, but the subtle digs, Dad's jokes about those liberals pushing agendas, Mom's sighs over neighbors' alternative lifestyles, created an invisible cage. One evening, Ethan showed up unannounced, his usual confidence replaced by desperation. "Mark's ghosting me," he confided as we sat on the porch. "He says it's too risky now that you know." My heart ached for him. Ethan came from a broken home, no family support, relying on scholarships and part-time jobs. Mark was his anchor, and now that was slipping away. I tried to reassure him, but inside, anger brewed toward my brother for cowardice. That night, I overheard Mark on the phone with a friend, laughing off Ethan's clinginess, calling it a phase. Betrayal stung deep. How could he dismiss something so real? The conflict escalated when Dad announced a family barbecue, inviting the whole neighborhood. Mark insisted Ethan come as just a friend. But the strain showed. During the event, under the guise of flipping burgers, I pulled Mark aside. "You're hurting him," I said. "And yourself. We need to talk about this openly." He shoved me back, eyes flashing. "Stay out of it, Drake. You have no idea what coming out would cost me. Scholarships, Dad's respect, everything." His words cut, revealing the chasm between us. Mark saw his identity as a liability, while I began to view hiding as the real prison. As the party wound down, Ethan cornered me, tears in his eyes. "I love him, Drake, but if he keeps this up, I can't stay." I hugged him, feeling a spark of something more, empathy turning to attraction, but pushed it down. This wasn't about me. Days turned into weeks, and the pressure mounted. Mark applied for internships, polishing his resume to perfection, while Ethan withdrew, focusing on his own studies. I found myself mediating, torn between loyalty to my brother and justice for Ethan. One night, after a heated argument where Mark accused me of meddling, I retreated to my room, journaling my thoughts. The words flowed: confusion, fear, but also a budding resolve. I researched local LGBTQ support groups online, anonymous forums where stories like ours played out. It gave me hope, but also highlighted the risks: disownment, violence, loss. Still, the idea of living authentically gnawed at me. Then came the turning point. Mom found an email on the shared computer, Ethan's message to Mark, professing love. She confronted us both, her face a mask of confusion and hurt. "Is this true?" she asked, voice trembling. Mark denied it vehemently, throwing Ethan under the bus. "He's obsessed, Mom. It's not mutual." I watched in horror as Ethan, who arrived moments later, heard the betrayal. His face crumpled, and he stormed out, leaving Mark to face Mom's questions alone. That night, the house echoed with silence, the first crack in our family's facade. I lay awake, realizing the cost of secrets. Not just personal pain, but the ripple effect on those we love. The fallout from Mom's discovery hit like a freight train, splintering our family dynamics in ways I never anticipated. Mark doubled down on his denial, spinning tales of Ethan's instability to deflect suspicion, while Mom hovered, her worry lines deepening with each passing day. Dad remained oblivious for now, buried in work, but I knew it was only a matter of time before the truth seeped out. I reached out to Ethan, finding him at his cramped apartment near campus, surrounded by textbooks and takeout containers. "He threw me away," Ethan said, his voice raw, like I meant nothing. Holding him as he cried, I felt a pull, a dangerous, undeniable attraction. But acting on it would be betrayal squared, so I focused on support, urging him to seek counseling through the university's LGBTQ center. Back home, Mark confronted me in the garage, his anger boiling over. "You told Mom, didn't you? This is your fault." I hadn't, but the accusation stung. "No, Mark. This is because you can't face yourself." Our argument escalated, voices rising until Dad burst in, demanding to know what was going on. Mark stormed off, leaving me to stammer excuses. That evening, over dinner, the tension was palpable. Mom's eyes darted between us, and Dad grumbled about kids these days. I excused myself early, retreating to my room to call a hotline I'd found online. The volunteer's calm voice validated my feelings. "It's okay to be scared, but living a lie extracts a toll." Her words echoed as I hung up, steeling myself for what came next. Ethan and I started meeting secretly, not romantically, but as allies navigating the wreckage. We'd grab coffee at a diner outside town, sharing stories of suppressed desires and family expectations. He opened up about his absent father and judgmental mother, how Mark had been his first real love. "I thought we could build something," he said, staring into his cup. I shared my own struggles, the crushes I'd hidden, the fear of disappointing my parents. These talks bonded us, but also amplified the guilt. Mark was my brother, after all. One afternoon, as we walked through a park, Ethan's hand brushed mine, and I didn't pull away. The moment lingered, charged with possibility, but I broke it. "We can't," I whispered. "Not like this." Meanwhile, Mark's facade cracked further. He started dating a girl from his law prep class, Sarah, parading her around family events like a shield. Mom seemed relieved, but I saw through it. The forced laughter, the averted eyes when Ethan's name came up. Dad, sensing something off, pulled Mark aside for man-to-man talks about responsibility. I overheard one. "Don't let distractions derail you, son. Focus on the future. A good job, a wife, kids." Mark's mumbled agreement twisted my gut. How could he nod along, knowing the lie? I confronted him again, this time in his room. "Sarah's just a cover, isn't she?" He glared. "Mind your own business, Drake. At least I'm trying to fit in." The pressure built to a boiling point when Ethan decided to come out publicly. He posted on social media, a simple statement: "Proud to be who I am, gay and okay." The backlash was swift. Old friends unfollowed. Anonymous messages spewed hate. But Ethan stood tall, attending pride events and joining support groups. Inspired, I attended one meeting anonymously, heart racing as I listened to stories of triumph over adversity. Back home, Mark exploded when he saw the post. "He's ruining everything," he yelled, pacing our living room. "If people connect us." I cut him off. "Maybe it's time they did. Hiding is killing you." Our fight turned physical. A shove here, a grab there, until Mom intervened, tears streaming. "What's happening to my boys?" That night, Dad learned the truth. Mom, unable to bear the secret alone, confided in him. His reaction was volcanic, shouting about disgrace, slamming doors, threatening to cut Mark off. "No son of mine," he bellowed. Mark crumpled, begging for understanding, but Dad stormed out to the bar. I found Mark in the basement, sobbing. "I didn't choose this," he whispered. For the first time, I saw his vulnerability, the weight of expectations crushing him. We talked till dawn, me urging therapy, him resisting. By morning, Dad returned, hungover and silent, the house a powder keg. Ethan reached out, offering an olive branch despite the pain. "I forgive him, Drake. But he needs to forgive himself." We met at a neutral spot, a quiet cafe, where Ethan shared resources. Books on coming out, hotlines for families. I passed them to Mark, who tossed them aside at first but later picked one up. Slowly, cracks of change appeared. Mark skipped a date with Sarah, spent more time reflecting. But the damage lingered. Neighbors whispered, church friends distanced themselves. Mom attended a PFLAG meeting secretly, her first step toward acceptance. As summer faded into fall, I made my own move. I told Mom first, in the kitchen over tea. "I'm gay, Mom." Her hug was tentative but warm. "I love you, Drake. We'll figure this out." Dad's response was gruffer. "Give me time." It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. Mark, however, spiraled. He broke things off with Sarah, admitting the truth to her, but the guilt over Ethan consumed him. One night, he confessed, "I love him, but I ruined it." I encouraged reconciliation, but Ethan had moved on, dating someone new, an out and proud guy from his group. The news hit Mark hard, forcing introspection. The family's therapy sessions began, awkward at first. Dad resisted, citing liberal nonsense. But Mom's insistence wore him down. We unpacked years of unspoken rules, the societal pressures molding us. Mark opened up about his fears. Losing inheritance, career sabotage in a conservative field. I shared my own. Isolation, rejection. Through it all, Ethan's absence loomed, a reminder of the cost of hesitation. One session, Mark broke down. "I betrayed the one person who saw me." The therapist nodded. Healing starts with accountability. With therapy underway, the Thompson household teetered on the edge of transformation, but old habits died hard. Dad's grudging participation masked deep-seated biases, fueled by his upbringing in a rural Illinois town where difference was deviance. He'd mutter under his breath during sessions, questioning the agenda. But Mom's quiet resolve kept him there. Mark, meanwhile, wrestled with remorse, reaching out to Ethan via text. Apologies met with polite but distant replies. "He's healing without me," Mark admitted one evening, staring at his phone. I nodded, hiding my own complicated feelings. Relief for Ethan, sorrow for Mark, and a flicker of jealousy that Ethan had found someone else. School resumed, pulling us into routines that offered distraction but not escape. I landed a job at a community center counseling at-risk youth, ironic given my own turmoil. There, I met mentors who embodied resilience. A gay couple running programs, sharing tales of discrimination overcome. Inspired, I volunteered at Pride events, handing out flyers, feeling the thrill of visibility. Mark watched from afar, envious yet paralyzed. "How do you do it?" he asked. "By choosing truth over fear," I replied. But my words rang hollow when Dad cornered me. "This center, it's full of those types, right? Don't let it change you." His words ignited anger. "It already has, Dad, and that's okay." The conflict peaked at Thanksgiving. Extended family gathered, aunts and uncles oblivious to our undercurrents. Dad's brother, Uncle Ray, a vocal conservative, ranted about woke culture ruining America. Mark tensed, I seethed, but we held our tongues until Ray targeted LGBTQ rights. "It's unnatural," he declared. Something snapped in me. "Actually, Uncle Ray, it's very natural, for me and millions others." The table fell silent. Dad's face reddened. "Drake, not now." But Mark chimed in. "He's right, and so am I." Chaos ensued. Ray stormed out. Aunts gasped. Mom mediated. Dad retreated to his study, emerging later with a mix of hurt and confusion. "I don't understand, boys, but I'm trying." Post-holiday, Mark took a bold step. He contacted Ethan for a face-to-face. They met at a park bench, the same one where Ethan and I had talked months ago. I waited nearby, anxious. Hours later, Mark returned defeated. He forgave me, but it's over. Said I need to work on myself. The rejection crushed him, but it sparked change. He joined a support group, attended therapy solo. Ethan, meanwhile, thrived, his new relationship blossoming publicly. Seeing his post stung, but I reached out as a friend. "Proud of you." His reply, "Thanks, Drake. You helped more than you know." Societal pressures amplified our struggles. At work, I faced subtle discrimination. A coworker's snide remarks about diversity hires. It mirrored the broader world. News of anti-LGBTQ bills in states, hate crimes rising. Mark's law ambitions hit roadblocks. A prestigious internship retracted after a background check uncovered his social media ties to Ethan. They said, "Cultural fit issues," he bitterly explained. Dad, witnessing this, softened. "That's not right." His evolution was slow but real. He read books Mom suggested, even apologized for past comments. "I was wrong," he admitted one night. "Love is love, I guess." Yet mending took time. Mark's group therapy revealed deeper issues. Internalized homophobia, fear of abandonment. He confessed to sabotaging relationships, including ours as brothers. "I pushed you away because you represented what I couldn't be, brave." We rebuilt, late-night talks fostering understanding. I too faced choices. Pursue a guy from work, Jake, who flirted openly, or play it safe. I chose risk, our first date, a nervous dinner where I shared my story. Jake's empathy sealed it. "You're strong for surviving that." The drama intensified when Ethan faced backlash from his own circles. His ex-friends, Mark's old crowd, spread rumors, labeling him a homewrecker. He called me in tears. "Why can't people just let us be?" I drove over, comforting him, but the proximity reignited that spark. This time, I didn't resist. A gentle kiss, born of shared pain. Guilt hit immediately. Mark can't know. Ethan agreed. This could destroy everything. Our secret affair began. A hypocritical echo of Mark and Ethan's start. Stolen moments in cars, whispered promises, but the moral weight crushed me. Was I betraying my brother for love? As winter set in, the deception unraveled. Mark spotted us together at a cafe, his face twisting in recognition. How could you? He confronted me later. After everything? I defended. It just happened. We connect. But Mark saw red. You're no better than me. Hiding, lying. The argument severed our fragile bond. He moved out to a dorm, cutting contact. Mom pleaded for reconciliation. Dad sighed in resignation. Ethan and I paused our relationship. This isn't right, he said. Alone, I reflected on the cycle. Secrets breeding more secrets, pain begetting pain. Therapy helped unpack it. Choices have consequences, the counselor said. Mark eventually reached out. A tentative text. Let's talk.
We met, apologies flowing.
I was jealous, he admitted. You got what I lost. Forgiveness came slowly, but it did. Ethan moved on again, wishing us well. The family emerged scarred but stronger, boundaries redrawn. Spring brought tentative renewal, but the scars of winter lingered like frost on the ground. Mark returned home sporadically, our interactions cautious, laced with unspoken regrets. He'd thrown himself into studies, acing exams, but the internship loss haunted him. Law firms talk, he said. Word gets around. I encouraged alternatives. Pro bono work for LGBTQ rights. Use your pain for good. He considered it, applying to a nonprofit, a small victory against the system. Dad, surprisingly, supported. If it makes you happy, son. His growth amazed me. He'd even attended a pride parade with Mom, holding a sign, Proud Parent. My relationship with Jake deepened, public and unapologetic. We walked hand in hand through Chicago streets, ignoring stares. But societal backlash reared. A homophobic slur shouted from a car, a denied table at a restaurant. Tested us, but strengthened resolve. At work, I advocated louder, organizing workshops on inclusivity. One youth shared a story mirroring mine. Closeted, family pressure. Guiding him felt redemptive, paying forward the support I'd received. Ethan faded into the background. A chapter closed. Last I heard, he'd transferred schools, starting fresh. Mark mentioned him once. I hope he's okay. The mention stirred old wounds, but healing progressed. Family dinners normalized, conversations flowing without eggshells. Mom baked rainbow cookies for a laugh. Dad chuckled awkwardly. Yet undercurrents remained, cousins distanced, church invitations ceased. The social cost was real, friendships fractured by prejudice. A new conflict arose when Mark faced a moral dilemma at his new job. The nonprofit defended a case against a bakery refusing service to a gay couple, echoing broader debates. Mark hesitated. What if it alienates family? Dad, overhearing, weighed in. Do what's right, even if it's hard. His words marked full circle, from denial to advocacy. Mark took the case, arguing passionately, winning a small settlement. The victory empowered him, but invited threats. Anonymous emails, slashed tires. This is the price, he said, voice steady. I admired his grit, our bond mending through shared battles. Personally, I grappled with identity beyond family. Joining an online community, I wrote essays on internalized shame, garnering support. One piece went viral, drawing both praise and hate. Trolls attacked. Freak. But allies rallied, reminding me of progress. Jake proposed a trip, a weekend getaway to recharge. In the mountains, away from chaos, we talked futures. Marriage, kids? Someday, he said. The possibility thrilled but terrified. Adoption hurdles, legal fights. Returning home, invigorated, I pushed Mark. Date again. You deserve love. He smiled faintly. Maybe. The high came crashing when Dad's store faced boycott rumors. A local group, spurred by Ray, whispered about supporting sinners. Sales dipped. Dad worried. "Is this because of us?" I asked. He nodded. "But I won't back down." We rallied community outreach, ally discounts. Surprisingly, support poured in. Neighbors shopped more. Signs of solidarity appeared. The crisis united us, proving resilience. Mark's case gained media attention, interviews highlighting our story anonymously. "Families evolve," he said on air. The exposure risked more but amplified voices. As summer approached, I reflected on the journey. From that shocking kiss to this fragile peace. Choices defined us. Mark's denial cost love. My bravery built bridges. Ethan's courage inspired. But questions lingered. Had we paid too much? One evening, over beer, Mark confessed, "I regret hurting Ethan." I nodded. We all have regrets. Learn from them. Our talk mended final rifts, brothers again. The story's climax hit when Ray confronted Dad at the store. "You're enabling sin," he yelled. Dad stood firm. "They're my sons. Love them or leave." Ray left, family ties severed. The loss hurt Mom, but she chose us. "Blood isn't everything," she said. In that moment, acceptance solidified. We celebrated quietly. A family picnic, laughter genuine. Jake joined, welcomed warmly. Yet peace was bittersweet. Mark dated tentatively, a guy from group, cautious steps. I proposed to Jake impulsively. He accepted. Planning the wedding stirred debates. Invite Ray? No. Church or civil? Civil. The process highlighted ongoing struggles, venue denials, family absences. But we persisted, vows a testament to endurance. The wedding day dawned bright. A Chicago rooftop venue buzzing with allies. Friends, co-workers, support group members. Mark stood as best man. His smile genuine. A far cry from the tormented brother of yesteryear. Dad walked me down the aisle, eyes misty. "Proud of you, son." Mom beamed, rainbow pin on her dress. Jake's vows echoed our trials. Through storms, we found sun. Rings exchanged, cheers erupted. A triumph over adversity. But absences haunted. Ethan, invited but declined. Ray's side of the family, silent. The reception danced on, toasts to resilience. Post-honeymoon, life normalized with undercurrents. Mark's career soared in advocacy law, cases stacking. He found steady love with Chris, out and unapologetic. Family holidays included them, Dad grilling steaks while joking lightly. "Two sons-in-law now," he'd say. Mom volunteered at PFLAG, her transformation complete. I advanced at work, directing programs, impacting lives. Jake and I discussed adoption, navigating bureaucracy's biases. Yet society pushed back. A new bill threatened rights. We protested, signs high. Mark spoke at rallies. We fought personal battles, now the collective. Arrests loomed, but we stood firm. One night, vandalism hit our home. Slurs painted. Dad cleaned it, fury simmering. "Not on my watch." The incident bonded us tighter, community rallying. Reflection deepened with time. Mark admitted, "That kiss you saw? Best and worst moment. Forced growth." I agreed. Pain shaped us. Ethan's update came via mutual friend. He'd married, happy in California. Relief washed over. No grudges. Our story, shared in a book I wrote, inspired others. Royalties funded scholarships for LGBTQ youth. As years passed, the family expanded. Jake and I adopted twins, navigating judgments but thriving. Mark and Chris followed suit. Grandkids filled the house, Dad doting, Mom baking. The cycle broke. No secrets, only love. But memories lingered, the betrayals, damages, awakenings. We paid dearly but gained immeasurably. In the end, was the pain worth the freedom?